So hey, once again in this course, I hope my voice and my video is also clear. So we will cover up these kinds of stuffs today in this video. The video will be very short because we are creating everything from scratch. Here I'm also uploading the video, so the checks are complete and I'm going to make it public. And this particular tab is eating my RAM. So after uploading the video, I will disclose this particular tab. Uh, Okay, done. So let's remove this tab. Remove this tab also. Yeah, I often use AI for making my thumbnails. It actually saves my time. So let's move on to the header file first. So let me clear all of this. And many of the people asked to me that how to make these kinds of stuff like input.txt competitive environment. It actually saves your time by again and again compiling the file and everything. So you can simply search it on the web, or you can go to the YouTube that search how to get the competitive setup in your VS Code. That is so simple. But if you guys still want to know that how to set up accurately according to your PC or whatever it is, you can simply comment down. I will definitely make a video if any of you single person comment on my videos. So this is a very underrated course. We will not go very in depth because we have to clear everything from scratch, right? So let me include the header file. So we can also import include.io stream, but it can only read input and output. That's it. You can simply use C in and C out. So that is not ideal. You have to use in data structures like string file, and you have to include multiple files also. So you must be see that if you ever uh, open and solve any problem in the lead code or geek for geeks, there is a header file called hash include bits, then slash, then standard C++ dot h. This header file contains multiple header files such as string.h and math.h. So if you want to manipulate the functions and you have to use in your header files in a particular file, you can simply use. But this particular file is a bit heavy as compared to IOStream, but it doesn't even matter. It has a very slight difference, right? So you can simply use this header file every time you are trying to do DSA. Must ensure that you are using this particular header file, right? So we are using namespace std here. Why we are using it? Because we have to use the std dot again and again whenever we are taking the input and throwing an output, right? So to prevent this, we are using namespace std. That is why we use this as standard, so that we don't have to write std colon and colon again and again. So there is an entry function. Every programming language has an entry function except Python. Python also have, but it is hidden, so you don't have to remember. You can also write void here. It doesn't even matter, but it is a good practice that you write int, and there is a return zero also if you are writing int, right? There is a simple hello world also. Let me tell you that most of the people, you must be aware regarding regarding this command. uh, Syntax control shift b, and you can simply run hello here. So I guess this is not running because all the things and stuff have been redirected with the main.cpp file. So no worries. I'll also explain everything right here in this also. There is an advanced thing I was preparing for you guys to tell you. I'm also a student, so I really want to connect with you guys as much as I can explain. So let me comment down all the things. And if you guys also want to know that how to comment down instantly, then you should use control and slash. I'll also explain everything one by one, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, done. So let me comment down all the things written here, and I am using the simple hash include bits standard C++ file using namespace std, then entry point of the function, then simply write hello, control shift B, and why output.txt not giving anything? Like, it shouldn't work like this, yeah. Control shift B, control shift and B. Yes, actually it was lagging. That is why I wasn't getting the output. So here you can simply use, and you can also use end L for the next line, and don't forget to add this arrow. Why this arrow? Because if you are throwing an output, that means you have to use this particular arrow. But if you are taking an input, you can use this arrow. How to remember this? It is like something you are getting into, like A, that means you are taking an input A. So that is why we use this particular arrow in this. So this is the particular example, and this is how you can take an input as well. Like I'm initializing an variable called A, and I'm also taking an input in A. So for example, I'm taking here 2, and I'm also printing that particular A. Let's see for an example, and control shift B, and we will get our output like hello, and after we will get the value too. Just wait for a minute, it is taking a while. Look, as you can see, it is loading. Lag of resource. So as you can see, it is printing too. So this is how you can take input and output, and let's not waste our time into this and get directly to the function. So I've told you that why we use this particular header file, and why we use this also. This is the entry point of the function. If this is not written, your code will not run never in your life. And let's understand what is the next thing. Header file, then loops. Let's study the loops directly. So there's a two loops. The first one is for loop. For loop, for example, I have to print my name again and again. So there is a very repetitive process. I have to use count again and again. So to prevent this and improve the reusability of the code, you can simply use int I, and you can initialize the I variable, the iteration variable right here, and you can initialize the iteration variable right here. So whether you are using I, X, or Y, whatever it is, it totally depends upon you. It is a good practice if you are taking I. But if you are initializing the I right here, you can't access the I out of this loop, because every for loop, every function, and every curly braces has a function scope, right? So not getting into that now. So let's initialize the I variable right before, so to prevent all the error could come. So I is equals to 0, y 0, it totally depends upon you and conditions. I'm taking 0 by default because I have to show you something. So less than equals to 10, and if you will say less than equals to 10, right? Okay. And I plus plus, you can also use I is equals to I plus 1. It totally depends upon you. Then after that, you will use count, not count but see out, and your name, whatever it would be, like for example fetch, and we have to use endl here, otherwise it will print directly one after another. Okay, let's print. You don't have to give any input here, so it doesn't even matter after all. So it will print all the things one after another. It is executing. It is not that slow, but too many things are running simultaneously, that is why. So you can see the output is right in front of you. Okay, for loop is done. We can comment this out, and let's go to the while loop now. While loop says if you know the condition but you don't know where to stop, then you should use while loop. Like, you can simply initialize the iteration variable like we have done before. You can use while then less than equals to 10. Then we can use simply what, the hey or hello. Done. Does it even matter why we should always add and l after each statement? So it is a bit slow because I have already opened multiple files in the background. Basically, this is the main culprit, the RAM meter. If you're using another browser, that is a very good thing, but I'm very comfortable in this. That is why I use. And even I'm most of the time I plug my charger into it, so there is no problem of charging also. My laptop's battery is very weak. Okay, as you can see, it is working. So how it is working internally? First, it starts from 0, then 0 is less than equals to 10, true, print. 1 is then, divide is print. Okay, got it. So we have to terminate our program, unfortunately. So to prevent this, you should be very know that this particular thing will run infinite times. Why? Why? Because you have not given the condition, though every time the while loop will run at I is equals to 0. So that is the main thing. While loop, in a while loop you can face your program could be crash. So you have to give the condition I is equals to I plus 1 every time it checks the condition. So now it will run smoothly, and to prevent another confusion we can simply use and L as well with the arrow. Control Shift B, and it is running. And after this, so it is running. Let me write another code. Do while loop. So do while loop depends on the condition basically. So this is the particular structure of do while loop. You not this. It is wrong. Do while loop is something. Here you can write the statements, and here you can write the condition. So it is simply if you want to run the loop for once, then you have to use do while loop. Let's remove all this. It will run definitely. Yeah. Okay, so I guess that is enough for part one, and we will cover the if and function later. Let's complete the if condition first. So whether you are you can also implement the if condition inside the loop as well, outside the loop as well, wherever you want. So let me give you the demo. If condition totally depends upon this boilerplate, like if then condition, and if condition is true, this particular statement will run. If condition is not true, outside the loop will loop or condition will be go outside. Whether you can write here, whether you can use else statement. Else statement is totally optional. So yeah, so that was something I wanted to tell you guys. So thank you. The function video will be on the next video. Till then, keep learning and keep growing. Log. I'm not copying anybody.